welcome to another video. Today we're watching True Facts About Bees by the Frank. Yeah.
This episode sponsored by Brilliant. Learn to think. If you've ever seen a bee, you've probably noticed that they're not the largest of animals, and thusly are endowed with a brain suitable for their smallnessness.
They're tiny.
Here it is, the brain of a bee. I mean, honestly, it looks fairly large on the screen like that.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't even think they have a brain. Is that me? Is that not me? Not me. I have a brain. I have a brain. But is that mean? Is that mean that I thought they don't have a brain?
This Xbox controller, which is apparently what controls a bee,
Whoa.
only has around 960,000 neurons in it.
Oh,
Compare
sorry.
that to the 100 billion or so neurons in a human brain. You see that right there? No? Well,
See, I am smart. All living things have a brain. Wait, really? Even like, oh.
that's the bee brain to scale. Anyway, with stats like that, you might expect a bee to suck at Scrabble, which they do. But they can remember the directions to a flower a mile away. Not sure I could do that. And they can learn which flowers have the good sauce. This bee right here, for example, learned that those yellow third-grade arts and crafts flowers had the better nectar to drink, while the blue ones had the better pollen to rub all over. It's the best day of that pipe cleaner's life. I know what you're thinking. Big deal. Learning to tell flowers apart is like...
Bees are freaky, dude. Right?
like the main business of being a bee.
I think they
Of course they're going to toss a couple 100,000 neurons at something important like that. But what about if things get a bit more complicated? See this puck? Well, in the middle of this puck, there's a divot with some sugar juice in it. And bees, they love the sugar juice. Now, of course, if you put a cap over top that sugar juice, you get some bummed out bees. But if you take that cap and cover just a little bit of that food hole, and then each time the bee comes back, you cover it up a little.
Show our cozy snail some love.
Thank you, Kitsune, for the resub. I really appreciate it. Did you know the reason we're not like the rest of the animals is because our nerve system is that advanced? I didn't know that. I didn't. But I mean, it makes sense because like obviously we're much smarter. Like our brain is just, you know. I didn't know it's because of the nerves, but I guess it's all. I mean, the nerves connect to the brain, right? Yeah.
You get some bees that maybe
Wanted to
complain
be
on Yelp
born a
about the
wolf.
restaurant going to
Why?
shit. But also bees that gradually figure out that you can push that cap out the
I am a wolf. Ow!
way. And once you light that fire, some of them really get into the pushing. All right, Millie, you did it. You
Oh
can
my
stop now.
God.
Pretty clever, these bees.
strong.
But if you train them on a different shape
Or he,
cap,
I guess.
and then present them with both kinds of caps, they'll push the shape they were trained on first,
Yeah,
regardless
it's a
of
lot
which one
more
is covering up
advanced.
the sugar hole. So they're learning, but they're not
Yeah, I know the brain is part of that system. I know. But I didn't think of that.
quite getting the full picture. But pushing things out the way is pretty normal for a bee. Flowers like that of the black locust don't just
Strong.
give up the pollen. You have to force it open. So what about learning something new that doesn't involve pushing? Here you have some flowers, I'm doing air quotes. They've got a hole in the middle with sugar in it, and the whole thing is under a clear cover. But there's a string attached that you
Wait.
can pull to get at it.
All worker bees are female, not male. Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Oh, maybe it'll come up in the video. I thought it was the other way around.
Now you give this setup to a bunch of bumblebees and not much happens. A lot of buzzing around. I mean, might be because the flowers look like crap. Didn't even draw petals on them. I know its scientists didn't have the balls to go to art school, but still. Anyway, you might find a rare bee, a 1 in 100 sort of thing, that can figure this thing out on the first go. But you know those kind of bees, getting drunk the night before the SATs sort of bees. But most of the rest of us, them, need a little help. But what you can do is train them by gradually pushing the flower under the cover, and that way they learn to pull on the string to get the juice. Not bad, right? And listen, once they learn it, they're champs at it. You want to give them a job. But look at this. You take another bee that doesn't know how to do
actually
it. Put
smell
that bee
it.
in a box and let it watch the trained bee pull the string. Now let that bee out the box, and you know what? It friggin' learned by watching. Now the trained bee can still do some things that this one can't. Like if you add extra string so the flower doesn't move right away, the trained bee keeps pulling until it works. The one who learned by watching just kind of gives up. So some things aren't getting across. But in this
That's
way,
me.
they can teach each other some very
That's
complex
me.
things. Here's a bee trained to do a two-step
Yeah, they
puzzle
are
where you only
smart.
get the reward at the end. And again,
I
another
feel bad now that I said I didn't think they have a brain. I'm sad. I don't know.
bee can learn just by watching.
I feel
Looks like a
bad.
bit of an annoying student. That gets right up in there. Oh, now he's gone for a vape. All right, I'm back. Blue thing, red thing. Got it. I know what you're thinking. What about balls? Listen, what you've heard is true. Bees love balls. Like before I even show you stuff about how smart they are, you should know that bees really love balls.
He's like a cat. Or she. Sorry. Balls. God damn it. You guys. Look at this.
Bees
Bro is acting like a cat.
really love balls. If you make a clear path from a bee's nest to food, nothing in the way. But to get there, the bees have to walk past what is essentially a bee-sized Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. They stop and they play with those friggin' balls. Not for some reward or anything like that. They play
Aww.
with balls. So it's not
They play
surprising
with
that you can train a bee to
balls.
play one round of mini-golf. And look at how they train them, with a little bee puppet on a stick. And when they put the ball in the middle, they get a sugar snack. And they
That's so
eventually get the hang of
cute.
it. Look at this one. She throws it so hard she does a somersault. And she's like, come on, hit the middle.
Just like
Where's
me
my
for
sugar?"
real? Wait,
Now
what?
you have the trained bee teach a novice bee how to put the ball in a hole. But this time you have 3 balls, and the 2 closest ones are glued down, so it has to use the farthest one. Now you let the
Aw.
novice bee try it on its own, and you don't glue down any of the balls. And you know what? It uses the ball that was closest to the middle, the one that gets you the treat the fastest, even though it was trained on a different ball. That's innovation.
Oh
Now,
shit. I didn't know bees are goofy. Me neither. Me neither. I thought they were just like actually I thought bees were like just workaholics. I didn't know they're like actually silly and they like to have fun. That's so cute.
This allows knowledge to spread through an entire colony. Bees teaching other bees. That's what this shows, how that string pulling skill from before went from A to B to B to
Oh
B.
my god.
If you like this show and you like to learn
Oh
like
my
the
god.
bee
Wow,
do,
why is
please
it
go
so
and check
loud,
out
dude?
brilliant.org.
Oh my
Brilliant
god,
is a free and easy
brilliant.
way to learn math, science,
Oh
and
my
computer
god.
science. They have been a
I'm
long-time sponsor
stupid.
of True Facts because I think they're great at teaching. The course How Technology
Teaching?
Works, for example, helps you understand the things you interact with every day.
Oh
you
my
can find out why the
God.
passwords you've been using aren't up to snuff and how to craft a good one. There's lessons on how
Ooh,
recommendation algorithms
awesome.
work and why you suddenly see all those ping pong videos in your feed. Turns out there's
Ping
lots of
pong?
choices being made for you. And then there's lessons on how to
True.
compress those ping pong videos to smaller file sizes without losing quality. And if all this inspires you to switch careers, well, you can use Brilliant to learn how to code.
Yeah, we
With
can
courses
learn like
pro-
the bees. We can be smart like the bees.
Programming with Python or thinking in code. It's amazing. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days.
30
Visit
days!
brilliant.org/Zayfrank or
Oh
click
my
on the link in the
God,
description.
wait.
You'll
Oh
also
my
get
God.
20% off an annual premium subscription. Start learning.
Awesome.
Get inspired. Check out Brilliant today. Where were we?
Awesome.
Oh, right. It makes sense that bees can share.
Only humans can be workaholics. I thought so. Like, I don't know. I thought bees were workaholics. Like, not as in, cause like, isn't it like most animals, they live to like, I don't know. Cause if you think about it, like the bees, they work, right? Cause they are like workers. So they love working. That's what I thought. I don't know. Yeah, Cole's gonna be later.
Knowledge. I mean, bees are social butterflies. Well, I mean, they're bees, but they all live together and they have to have some complicated roommate meetings, like who's going to get the groceries, or in this example, how to choose the location of a new home. Now, out of 10,000 bees or so, only a couple hundred of them are the scouts. And the scouts go off and look for a good location, maybe a nice
Bees
hole.
are
Now,
German.
if they
You
find
can
something,
say
they come
that,
back with
I
directions.
guess.
But they don't blab about it. They do it through interpretive dance. It's like if a mime had to give
Another reason why I'm a fake German. I'm not a workaholic. Sadly, I wish I was.
Directions to the porta potty at Coachella. Here's how it works. They do this sort of figure eight thing, right? And when they go through the center, they shake their ass. This already packs
Oh
in
my
a bunch of info.
God!
It's like the Morse code of twerking. The direction they move in while they shake it corresponds to the
They
direction
love
of the
shaking
location.
it.
Check it out. They're doing this on a vertical surface. The up direction means straight towards the sun. Down is away from the sun. So this direction here is like 5 o'clock away from the sun. Now the distance to the location is how long they shake it. It's rough.
Fake German doesn't say German words every minute. Okay, German lesson. Bee in German. Biene.
1,000 meters for every second of shaking. Apparently
Easy.
they bought into the metric system. Bullshit. Now you might be thinking, how the hell do these bees know how far they flew? Well, at one point they thought the bees were measuring
Schmetterling
the
is
energy that they
a
used to get there.
butterfly.
So they put tiny weights on the bees to see if it changed their estimates. And you know what? It mainly proved you shouldn't put weights on bees. Now there's a bunch of bees with muscular calves walking around.
Oh my
Another
god.
time, they put these tents up as landmarks on the way from a hive to a
Bees.
feeder. And then they changed the number of landmarks, which seemed to confuse some of the bees. So what now? Bees can count? Well, it seems they can, especially lower
What
numbers.
the heck?
Here's one avoiding 4 and landing on 2. Here's one they taught to tell the difference between 11 and 12. You can give them 2 scenarios and
heck?
train them to pick the larger one or the smaller one in this scenario.
Actually
Look at it go back
smart.
and forth just to be sure. Perfectionist bee. And if you train it on picking the larger number, it won't just pick the one with more shapes. It'll also pick one with the same number of shapes, but where the shapes themselves are bigger. It's like
Wait, you know those comparisons? Like, is it like a pig is like as smart as like a 3-year-old child? Or like a 3-year-old human child? I wonder what that's like for bees, you know? Their government drones. Oh my god, it all makes sense now.
the concept of
3-year-olds are not smart. Okay, they're not, but they're smarter than I thought a pig would be. Alright? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
larger. And look at this. If you train them to pick the smaller thing, they recognize that nothing is smaller than something. I mean, that's the concept of zero.
What if I ask my bees? My bees. I don't have bees, but what if I get bees and make them do my taxes somehow?
This one, if the bee sees yellow shapes, it's trained to go inside and look for the panel with 1 less than the number of shapes outside. Friggin' subtraction. If the color of the shapes is blue, the bee knows to add 1 to the number. I mean, they can do math. You probably only knew about their spelling. Kill me. But discrete counting doesn't seem to be the thing that helps them judge distances. Instead, they seem to use something called optical flow, which is kind of
Human babies are the most pathetic babies in the animal kingdom for the first 2 to 3 years. I mean, it's not wrong. But I think one of the reasons for that is that, you know, humans also live longer than most animals, right? So I feel like they grow like slower. I don't know. Hello, Mr. Rice Man. Hi. Müppchen Bodden went BPC. I'm not that smart, but maybe, you guys, maybe if you go to brilliant.org/zfrank and get a 30-day free trial plus 20% off your annual subscription, maybe you can learn how to make a BPC. Maybe.
like the rate that things go by in your visual feed. And if you know that this is how bees measure things, you can kind of screw
Is
with
it
them.
evil?
You put them in a tunnel, for example, with stripes on the floor. As it passes over the stripes, it measures the distance and has an appropriate ass shaking. Now you do the same thing, except in this one, the stripes are moving. So as the bee flies, it thinks it's covering a hell of a lot more ground. And it tells its buddies about a location that's miles away. Meanwhile, you put a horizontal stripe and nothing changes while you fly over it. They don't know how far they went. And this explains, by the way, why bees will often drown if they fly over still water. You can see this effect by using a mirror, too. The bee keeps getting closer to the ground to try and discern some movement. But all there is a reflection of a stationary bee. So you can see it keeps bunking into the ground. Anyway, in addition to distance and
Maybe
direction,
they're not
there's
that smart, actually.
one more thing that seems to be communicated in this dance. The bee's estimate of how good the location is that it's found seems to be related to how often it does the dance in a row. If it thinks it's found something great, it just keeps going. And then there's bees like this one that don't seem very enthused. It flew like 3 feet and found a shoe. Now,
One
the
mirror is
reason
like
for
a mirror
going on
maze.
and on
Yeah,
about a good
yeah.
location is because the bees eventually have to pick one location for their new home. So these dances aren't just about the directions, it's about marketing. If you
The reason human babies are born not fully completed because human females can't give birth to bigger babies. Yeah. That's what I thought. I lied. That's not what I thought. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense though. Because like in other animals, sometimes they come out like almost fully grown. Yeah, you can't compare them to humans, obviously.
found a good location,
Wait.
so these dances aren't just about the directions, it's about marketing. If you found a good location, you
Ooh.
try and convince other scouts to check it out, and then dance like you do until there's enough to make the decision. And listen, since you've stayed around this long, I'll tell you one other thing. All of this communication about distance and location and quality mainly happen inside a hive, in the dark.
Oh my
Mic drop.
god.
A tiny little bee mic drop.
What? Wait, what do you mean?
No, no.
Wait,
no,
wait, how was that the end? Wait, I just wanted to...
your money.
I didn't know they can also see in the night. Or like in the dark. Oh. Alright! Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Please like and subscribe if you liked it. Check out C Frank. And also, yeah, bees love balls. Bees love balls. Also, come over on Twitch if you want to see me live. Yippee! Bye, YouTube. Bye.